Hi guys, and welcome back to Real Mommy Talks. Okay, real mommy conversations, real mommy shit, real. Okay, and so this is the second part of our breastfeeding video, and I again have my lovely assistant, my paid actress here. Okay, as we get into more conversations. So today is actually what I want to talk about in this video is to the actual act of breastfeeding, proper latching, things like that, little tips and things as you are actively going through it. All right. So look at those little teeth. And she's teething too, so that's another thing. All right. Number one is actual latching, right? How do you know your baby is latching? How to latch, right? How to even begin the process of breastfeeding. Now, so for me, what I like to do, my theory is nipple. I do nose. I go nipple down, and you see how she opens up? That's how you want her to be when it comes to your nipple. So you want to kind of start your nipple at their nose and work your way down, because that opens the mouth wide and allows them to on the nip. Okay, now I'm about to do something. I'm about to show y'all through the phone, right? You want them to be, their mouth to cover this part of your nipple. You don't want them pinching on the nipple. When they have the, my baby in particular, I don't know if this is a baby thing, right? But sometimes, especially at night when she's like trying to hurry up and get to it, she's like, so she does this like small slurping, right? So it gets that nipple in and it hurts. It hurts so bad. And honey, you might be like, you know what, I'm tired. Just let the girl, if the milk come out, just let the girl do it. And then 3 days later, your nipple is in so much pain, okay? So much pain. And I'm just speaking from experience. I'm just speaking from experience. Girl, just take that little extra second just to do the nose and mouth, and it'll open up wide. And she be trying to fight you because they're hungry, they impatient, they act like they didn't just eat 5 minutes ago. And so that's what you got to do, okay? So it's nipple to nose, and it will be good. How would you know milk is coming out? Them cheeks, honey. Them cheeks. And mine, she be rolling her eyes back of her head. She be grunting. She be, all the sound effects. You hear all the sound effects with them. It's very dramatic and stuff like that. That's how you will know that is a proper latch. For me, so my mom was actually telling me this story a couple of weeks ago, and she was saying that so when I had delivered, I had tore, so I had a 2nd-degree laceration, so they had to immediately stitch me up. And so the baby was with me for like 3 minutes, if that, right, for 3 seconds. And then they took her, got her clean and things like that, while they got the blood clots out of my scarrings and things like that, took my placenta out, and then sewed me up. And so they needed to feed the baby. The baby's hungry. We need to feed the baby. So they tried to give her formula, and she refused to take the formula. And so she waited. It was like, we need her to eat. We need her to eat. Baby girl came out the womb refusing. Okay, she's like, I know the deal that me and my mama made. I know that my mama wanted me to be breastfed. So why would y'all give me formula? She didn't. Did she say that? Did she give y'all permission? No. And thus that's what she did. And so she waited till they was done with me. As soon as she came to me, honey, she latched and she was grubbing. And I was nervous. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to now. And my grandma was talking about how she ain't never produced milk. But that's my grandma and her storytelling, so I don't know the full story. But she was talking about she don't produce milk. So I was thinking like, damn, I'm not gonna produce milk, and my mama and them, they didn't breastfeed, so I'm literally the first one in my lineage of family members breastfeeding. I think me and my cousin are the only two who have breastfed our babies. But yeah, You gotta tell the baby no when the baby want to suck on the little tiny nipple part. You gotta open her up, okay? Because it hurts. When you first start, those first, oh my God, that first week of breastfeeding, excruciating pain, okay? Breast engorged, all the things, right? Okay. Um, painful, painful. But after that, it don't hurt much. Now if you're like me and you're prone to nipple, like your nipples being sore during pregnancy, I'm not being pregnant, but like during your period, like your cycle, like during ovulation or something like that, like your nipples get sore right before your period comes, your cycle comes on, it's like times two during breastfeeding. So I was still having that. I still have that monthly sore nipples, and so with breastfeeding, it's just like, oh my gosh, oh my God, be 1 week where I just wake up and it's just so much, like I just feel it. I just feel the milk being extracted from me, you know, type stuff. Hey, baby. Next, number 2 is cluster feeding. Yes. I'm gonna tell you now. Yes. You want to know? Yes. The answer is yes. They still hungry? Yes. They want to eat some more? Yes. She wants some more milk? Yes. She want that nipple? Yes. She crying because she hungry? Yes. Yes. Is there some milk in there? Yes. Okay. When I first coming into this, again, like I told you, I didn't know nothing about babies like that, like their daily mannerisms. Like I knew developmental stuff, but like just day-to-day mannerisms, I don't know much about babies. And so I did not know how much she ate. I thought they was gonna eat about 3 to 5 times a day. Honey, it's all day every day. It's all day every day. Okay, it consumes your life during their first, stages of life. Breastfeeding and feeding them consumes your life. Okay, so yes, you may have a baby. It just depends on your baby, right? You may have a baby who likes to cluster feed. I have a cluster feeding baby, especially when she's going through growth spurts. She's gonna cluster all the time. My babes, she clusters all day, and then at night she'll have long stretches of sleep. She might sleep for like 2. I might even get a little good 4 hour, but it's usually 2. 2 is the max with her. But if she's with somebody else, I might get that. If she was with my aunt, I might get that 4 hours. But yeah, so they're gonna cluster feed, but she'll eat about like within 2 hours. I think babies eat within 2 hours. Every 2 hours, they'll tell you, especially in the beginning, that they need to eat. Like, don't let them go over 2 hours without eating, for sure not 4. And so, but she eats a lot. But of course, it's also normal like anybody else. Like if I know that there's a piece of cake in the refrigerator and I'm in the room, I'm gonna want the piece of cake because I know that it's there, right? Compared to I may not want a piece of cake when it's not there in the refrigerator, right? So that's the thing. When she's near me, she smells me. Is that my mama? That's how she do. That's how you be. Is that my mama? Let me go because I'm hungry. Okay. And so, yes, they're going to cluster feed. It's not because you don't have enough supply. It's not because they're not nourished and fed. That is literally their development. That's literally how they are. That's how they act. That's how they operate. Baby's gonna eat. Okay, a baby gonna eat. She ain't gonna miss them up. But you also gotta think about it. If I go and I grab this and I drink a couple of sips of water, right? I would do this more if I didn't need to say this. Waiting for my mama to come so I could go get some more water. But if I have this big old jug of water and I'm thirsty, I'm gonna take a couple of sips, quench my thirst, go on, come back, quench my thirst, go on, come back, quench my thirst, right? I'm not going to sit and just drink and drink and drink all that big gallon of water. I'm going to go ration it throughout the day, right? That's the same with the baby. Don't deny your baby no food. I don't care if everybody, people love to say that baby not hungry. It's not hungry. They sleepy. They not hungry. They can't be eating that much. People, I told y'all, people like they have they 2 cents, they 3 cents, they quarter, they 50 cents, they nickel, they dime, all up in your business as a mama. People like to be all up in your business. And they like to say, especially when they not around you that much and they really just got their 2 cents, like, dang, they gonna eat again. Like, oh, that baby, that they let us say that breast milk thin. Especially black folks, they so disrespectful. It's like that breast milk is thin. That baby hungry. That baby's so hungry. They need to eat. That's why he's eating a lot. You need to put the cereal in this baby. You need to put that. You need to do this. You need to give the baby this. You need to give the baby that. Listen, right now I am introducing foods and tastes to Lily, and she's not eating spoonful of stuff. She's blowing bubbles with the food, but she's getting it to taste on her tongue. But she's not trying to eat it as a meal replacement. Breast milk is her thing. I'm not going to deny my baby some milk. That's like denying her some water. It's all encompassing. It's her food. It's her water. She dehydrated. She gonna have it. She hungry. She gonna have it, right? But I might let her pause for a minute because I might need a break. But as far as, you know, the girl gotta eat, okay? And you don't. This is a conversation I want to have on another day to go really in depth with this, because I think this is a really great conversation to have when it comes to motherhood and just different topics. But you don't really notice how much of a rejection people have around food and like eating and things like that until it comes to a baby. You will be touched all day, every day. You will be touched. So getting back into cluster feeding, the rule of thumb is, as long as you see pee, you know that they're drinking, okay? As long as they are peeing, they are drinking, okay? They're gaining weight, you are okay. That's all that matters. Anything else, you do not need to be trying to put a diet plan on the baby, okay? The baby don't need to be on keto. The baby don't need to be counting calories, counting ounces. The baby don't need to be on a restricted diet plan, honey. The baby does not need to be skinny. The baby does not need to be fitting into a size 2 jeans. Leave the baby be. Let the baby be how the baby be. Let the baby enjoy this time of not being highly critiqued about their size, their weights, and all the things. Especially if you have a little girl. She's going to have all those insecurities later on in life. Right now, all she needs to do is just eat to enjoy and to survive. My views on weight management, body image does not matter. She needs to eat. Anybody else's projections around that topic does not need to be placed into consideration. Do not starve your baby because somebody else has a problem with how much they are feeding, especially if they are cluster feeding. Do not starve your baby off of someone else's insecurities. All right. Numero 3. Okay, numero 3. Rule of the thumb when it comes to breastfeeding: your comfortability, access, all those things, accessibility, all those things matter. And so for me, I'm not getting up out of the bed every 2 hours in the night to go to a crib, grab a baby in the cold, come right back into a cold bed and put the baby on my boob, to take the baby off the boob, wake myself out to sleep, make the baby out to sleep, just to put the baby back into that uncomfortable crib. My baby was not having it from day one. She did not like being in a bassinet. She didn't like any of those things. And because, again, I tore, I could not be getting up and down. It hurt so bad. Like, I had to brace myself and mentally prepare myself to get up out of the bed, to stand up out of a chair. Because it hurts. And I didn't have the muscle. I still don't have that muscle. The muscle is still not strong. I don't have the muscle that's needed. I didn't even know you had a muscle in your coochie that helped you stand up. I didn't know. And so I couldn't just be getting up in and out of the bed. I had to cave in to co-sleeping. Okay? Be okay with co-sleeping. It is okay. Honey, put that baby in your bed. Put that baby in your bed. Just whip the titty out, plop it in that baby bed mouth, go on back to sleep. The baby don't even have, let me tell you, co-sleeping has alleviated a lot of the tantrums and the sleeping at night. You know how a lot of those videos and content that women have of waking up a gazillion times during sleep to go get their baby and feed their baby and change their baby and do all those things because they're in the newborn trenches? That's not my story. Okay? That is not my song. Okay? That's not me. I like to make things easy for me. I am a lazy mom. I like to find little lazy hacks to help me out. And co-sleeping has been number one. Okay, I have shared a bed with another adult and safely co-slept with the baby. And I'm also sleeping with myself, by myself, co-sleeping with the baby. Okay, and when me and the baby was sharing rooms with my aunt, it was a struggle, but we made it work to make it safely for the baby. You just have to safely. I will do a separate video on co-sleeping for those of you who are interested. Just let me know in the comments that you're interested in knowing a little bit more about how to safely co-sleep with the baby. And you let me know if you're sleeping. I'll do both, with sleeping with someone and with you and just the baby by yourself, because co-sleeping really does help. The baby doesn't get fully awakened. They just shuffle, they move. Okay, the baby gonna shift and scooch closer to you. It's so funny because sometimes I will put space in between us and I will see her moving her head, scooting over, getting close as she can to me. Okay, because she want to be next to that titty. All right, and all you gotta do, you just lay down, flip it out, boom, 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 bam. Just lay down, flip it out. You can hold them like this. This is when you want to get them off your arms and stuff like that. This is if you have Velcro babies. Hold on, let's see. I'm going to try to do it without showing my nipple. But you just go like this. And you just lay down with them. Watch out for that arm, because it might be up under there. And you just lay down. And you see that nip, that yitty, it's just gone to the side. That's why it's good to have sagging boobs. Okay, a little long titty comes in handy. See, I wanted perky boobs. I wanted to perk them. But perky probably wasn't going to help me. Okay, it's this long titty that allows it to go to the side. And because it's on the side, it can go into my baby's mouth and it can latch properly. And I could get my sleep and have my freedom and have my pillow, okay? Right now, I'm kind of sitting weirdly because I'm not really trying to lay down. You know? But now that I'm here, I might as well. But I don't want to lay down with this video. But I just wanted to just let you know, co-sleeping, honey, it is a game changer, okay? Remember, your emotional and mental health matters just as much as the baby's well-being. Don't listen. People are very hypercritical of mothers, and they have a lot to say about how you should be taking care of your newborn. of your infant. Ignore them people. Do what works for you, okay? Don't make things more difficult than they need be. If it's something you've been considering, do it. It do it, okay? Do it. But it's up to you. If you don't want to do it, good. Don't. Okay, so let's go to number 4. Numero quattro. Okay. Numero quattro. Quattro. Number 5. Switching of the nipple. You see, she's been on this one for a minute. For a good little thing, right? Now they say, they like to tell you, they like to recommend that you switch the nipple 15 to 20 minutes. That may be. But don't be. I have to say this because I know my anal girlies. Okay? My literal rule following girlies. Do not set you a timer and be like 15, 20 minutes. Okay, let me switch this baby. Go with the flow. It might not be that. Sometimes she gonna be on this nipple for 5 minutes and I'm gonna switch her on to the next one. Sometimes I'm gonna keep her on one nipple for as long as I can. And that means she's going to sleep and I'm not about to change her to wake her up. She going to sleep. Like she's falling asleep now. And I could just slowly glide the nipple out. But switching it, right? You want to balance it. You do want to be balanced because you don't want overproduction of milk in one nipple, on one boob, and then the other boob is like empty, right? Or vice versa, like it's being stagnant, it's being stored in one, and then the other one is constantly being drained. This will set you up for what's it, nasties, whatever it is, where it's like a clogged milk duct. Honey, having a clogged milk duct hurts like hell. But you don't want it to where it's clogged all the time that it is that is causing an infection with you and things like that. We don't want to, no. But you want to alternate your boobs. Go with the flow. If the baby's, my rule of thumb is if the baby's constantly like unlatching, I'll just switch. And then I'll try to remember to like, oh, you know what? I had you on this boob a lot. Let me switch. When I'm driving, like if I'm not driving myself, but if I'm in the car with her, with somebody else is driving, usually it's this boob that's getting it through the whole trip. And then once we get out, if she needs to feed again, I'll just try to make sure I get her to get this one. Because after a while, it'll be empty. One of the ways you'll know that your boob is empty is if they're constantly latching, but they're crying. Now, this is hard because sometimes they'll be cranky, and it's, you know, the time and you know your baby. Like, I know that if she's doing that behavior and it's 6 o'clock at night, I know that that has more so to do with her sleepy and being overtired than it is that I'm not producing enough milk and I don't have enough milk supply. You will be very surprised you have milk supply. Do not, I feel like I should have did more tips with this physical act, but do not feel like pressured that you need to have stacks and stacks of milk and things like that. The girls who do have that oversupply of milk, they have this totally different like pumping and feeding method that they're doing. Like sometimes they're having the baby latch on one nipple while they're pumping on the other one, and I'm like, that's insane. That's not me, but also again, that's not my lifestyle. I'm not working, so I'm not having to go to a job. Like I am very, 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 very blessed, and I do not take that lightly. I'm very blessed to be able to have the time to just be with my baby and have her latch, have her be exclusively breastfeeding her without me having to pump or having to replace with formula, things like that. Now I have tried formula because at first I did think that I was low supply because she was cluster feeding. And she was crying a lot, but she was just learning her rhythm. And so now I understand like her sleep, her cry, all those things, to where I'm like, okay, no, it's not low supply. This is her being overtired, you know. But when I was like, oh my goodness, I was trying to force, like, especially because it was like happening a lot at night. Like, but before we got her into a full sleep schedule, she was up at night but sleeping during the day. And so in the middle of the night, she was just constantly wanting to feed, cluster feeding, cluster feeding, cluster feeding. But I'm like, I want to sleep. And so I thought, like, well, maybe, maybe I don't have the supply. Maybe I need to take, the moringa. Maybe I need to take this supplement. And I did those things, but I wasn't consistent with it. And it did produce a little bit more milk, but it was unnecessary. There was nothing wrong with the baby. There was nothing wrong with my milk supply. It was just the timing. And then as time progressed, after she got a little over a month, we started getting into a rhythm, and now I have a full sleep schedule for her. So she's great. Um, but yeah, um, it's just about balancing. But you don't fret about having low milk supplies. Don't think that you're having low milk supply because of the clustering, because you're switching the boobs, because you're crying, things like that. But be intuitive. Know, like, okay, I need to switch the boob. Okay, it's time, because I've been on this boob in particular for such a long time. And you will see the difference. Now, I do see like heavy boob versus like a full boob versus a flat low boob. But regardless of how the boob feels, there's still milk in there. Because there's times when my boobs will feel real flat, like a deflated balloon, and there will be a whole bunch of milk and the baby is grubbing. And then there's times where it's full to the max and she's having a hard time, difficulties with latching. Another thing with latching, I know now I'm hopping all over the place, but with latching, engorged boobs is harder than it is than not. So don't try to pressure yourself to have engorged boobs, to have full boobs, to have leaky boobs for the baby. And as time goes, you and the baby is learning the rhythm. So the first couple of weeks, you guys are just learning. It's trial and error. The baby is learning its own feeding methods. Your body is trying to learn the baby's feeding methods. You're trying to learn for sleep. All these things is so new, it's so fresh that it's emotionally taxing. But just be at ease with yourself. There's nothing wrong. And that's just coming from me, because I know that I had so much postpartum anxiety, and watching so much content around these things was making it feel like I was doing things wrong, because I'm like, oh my God, this girl has 5 stacks of breast milk. Why don't I have that? And things like that. And then realizing, okay, nothing's wrong. Now I'm almost 6 months and the baby is on track with everything, with her weight and stuff like that. The last thing that I have for the physical act of breastfeeding, actually breastfeeding, is just different positions. There's various different ways to breastfeed. Okay, it all depends on the situation, where you're at the time, and all those things. So when the baby wakes up, because she is asleep, okay, she's asleep. When she wakes up, I'm going to show you different positions of different positions of breastfeeding. We have the football helmet, you have the diagonal, you have the horizontal, you got the laying down, you got this, that, you got this, you got that. It all works for your comfortability, your baby's comfortability, and things like that. The positioning also has to do with the nose. You want to make sure that your baby has airway and breathing. I got a big old titty. Okay? I got a big yitty. Okay? These things is tiny. And so sometimes, and my baby got these little tiny, cute, little skinny, itsy bitsy, teeny weeny nostrils. All this breast is suffocating. I was looking at her like, that's exactly what I did to your daddy. I'm kidding. I be wanting to have, this is, I know this is random, but I be wanting to have the relatable experiences of baby daddy, but I don't have any of those things because I do not know that man. I do not know that man. But anyways, back to her. They have these tiny little nostrils, so it's very easy for them to kind of get trapped up and trapped in the boob. But they're so smart and so intelligent. They jerk their head back to make sure that they're breathing. And so with your positionings and how you position, you just want to make sure that that their nostrils have airway, that is clear and that they could breathe, and that if they don't, that they have enough room to jerk their head back so that they can breathe, and things like that. But all of those things just depends on you and your baby's comfort, how you want to lay down, how you want to be situated, how you want to watch TV, how is you in the bed, is you in the couch, where are you when you breastfeed, where do you like to be when you breastfeed, and things like that. Like, I'm a bed girl. I love to be in a bed. When I'm breastfeeding, there is no better place to breastfeed than being in the bed. I love being in bed, that I'm in the bed way too much, which is why from the previous video why I tell you to walk, because you want to lubricate those joints. You don't want to age your body. But I love a bed. It's so comfortable. The baby could be all different types of ways. The baby could be on my lap and things like that, instead of me trying to hold her up, be having all this this strain on my shoulders and my neck and things like that. So it just depends on you and where you want to, how you want to be and where you want to be. So yeah, so when she wakes up, I'm gonna show you different little positionings for that, okay? And then stay tuned for the next one. The next video, we're going to be talking about self-care, nipple care, things like that when it comes to breastfeeding. Okay, you guys, as promised, I'm going to show you how all the different positionings for breastfeeding with my lovely, cute, adorable assistant, Lolly. Say hello again to the people. Say hello, people. Okay, so this is traditional. This is, I'm assuming this is horizontal. Switch it if it's vertical. You know what I mean. This is regular, degular, schmegular breastfeed. Boom, bam. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Nose clear. Boom, boom, bam. Right? If I was laying down on my back, I could have her. Hey, girl. Like, look at that. Good deal. I gotta show you. Let's show the people real quick. Here. Boom. Nose still open. Get the feet. You got it. They have some where the baby could be like down here. This is the football helmet, and you boom here. You can have pillows up while that happens, and you just sitting here chilling. Boom, boom, bam. Ouch! Like, what a picture. That's about it. I know I made it sound like there was a whole bunch, but you know, I have had her in her carrier and just had her, be like this and whatever. I've had, in a car seat. I'm just okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all that I have done when it comes to this breastfeeding shenanigans. Shenanigans again. You're looking for. So yeah, again, it's just what you got going on in that moment, in that time. Again, I told y'all when I lay down, I just put it on over there. But now the thing about sleeping and laying and plopping her in is that when I have to switch sides, switch boobs, sometimes I gotta roll her on me on this side, and we gotta situate onto the other side. But I could go like that too, but that's uncomfortable. And if I fall asleep, my fear is I will fall asleep and will crush her in that position. And so I just rather just roll her on the other side and keep it safe to where it's just she's laying on the side of me and my boob is just going that way. That way my body is staying where it is and it's not on her and it's not trying to crush her, nor is she on me and she could, if I fall asleep, roll off of me, right? You want to be safe when it comes to co-sleeping, safe when it comes to breastfeeding and all the things, and making sure also that they're not choking, especially if they have bad acid reflux, especially in the beginning stages. Very beginning they have really bad acid reflux, so you want to be careful with how you feed and things like that. But you want the esophagus airway to be open, just things that are accessible and easy for the baby to go back to the baby in the back of the baby's throat. You don't want nothing where they're like this until they can't really drink, you know. You don't want them in choking positionings and stuff like that. Yes, baby. Do you have anything else you want to add to the breastfeeding situation? No. She is intrigued by Johnson Johnson. I know Johnson Johnson when I see Johnson Johnson. Silly of me. I was trying to sing silly with her to see if she'll do the do it like that. Let me hear you. Do it. Silly of me to think that I can ever have you for my guy. How I love you. Do-do-do-do-do. You're just a lover out to score, and I know that I should be looking for more. What good it be? I see. What could it be? Oh, love, stop making a fool of me. Do-do-do-do.